Well, buen camino de Pilgrims. I am Jeremiah Gibbs. I'm your Camino guide. Today's video, we're going to do a really practical look at some of the expenses for albergues from 2019 compared to 2022. That span is kind of before and after the COVID pandemic. Many folks have talked about the effect of the COVID pandemic on albergues and their prices and availability. Today, we're going to look at that kind of in a detailed level and make some assessments of what we can learn from this, particularly with sort of the last segment of Camino Frances. So stay tuned to the end, and I'm going to average all those out, tell you what our percentage increase is, and tell you what I think about expenses going into this Camino year. So first off, just a little bit about what the data is here. I took about 30, I think it was 32 pilgrims on Camino Frances from Astorga to Santiago in May of 2019. I still have all of my data from those albergues, and I'm planning to go back to mostly the same albergues for my May 2022 trip, which will also have, I think, 33 pilgrims this year. And so very comparable time frame. Number of pilgrims, what I'm looking for as far as the accommodations and so on. All of the albergues where we're staying are privately owned albergues because those are the ones that are glad to take reservations from a large group like we have. They're all similar in style. I think if you were to look at municipals and so on, your data might come out a little bit different. I don't have a good guess on what that would be. But these are the privately run albergues, all from Astorga. Well, one is in Leon and Astorga to Santiago. I've got the data from 10 spots. So I have more than that reserved, but there are some that for a variety of reasons, either I didn't have the data from the previous one, or in some cases I had to change locations to a new albergue or something. But I have data from 10 albergues that we're going to compare today. The first of those, and let me just give you, I already know lots of you have comments about how terrible my Spanish pronunciation is. If Gorka is listening right now, he will be laughing. Gorka from Pamplona has often made fun of my terrible Spanish pronunciation. So I'm going to try some of these names. I'm sure that I'm going to get plenty of them wrong, but you guys can laugh at me and put it in the comments about how terrible my pronunciation is. So the first one is Albergue Leonesa in Leon. This albergue was 15 euros in 2019. It was 15 euros in 2022. I do think this one might be a little bit, the data might be off, because I think in 2019 I reserved it on booking.com. I now have a relationship with them, so I just sent them an email this time. And so that may be a booking price compared to a non-booking price, which usually booking prices are a little bit more so that they can pay their fees out of that. But basically that one has stayed the same. Albergue Las Agueras in Miras de Chalado, I think that's how you would say that. They were in 2019, they were 12 euros per bed. In 2022, they are 15 euros per bed. That one is just after Astorga. Santa Marina, the albergue in Molina Seca. This is the large albergue in Molina Seca. That one was 7 euros and has been 7 euros for many, many years with no price increase. They are at 10 euros for this 2022 season. Albergue Medina in Campanaraya. This is one of my very favorite albergues for a number of reasons. Great staff, great food there, really phenomenal food. That one has gone from 10 euros to 11 euros this year. Casa Lixa in Las Areas is at the base of Ocebrero, the mountain up to Ocebrero. That one was 11 euros before and is 11 euros again this year. One of my favorite albergues on the entire Camino is, I think you would say that, Arrabelera. This is in Fonfria. It's the only albergue in Fonfria. It's a little village not far after Ocebrero. This albergue, you must stay there. I'm going to get video from a lot of these, by the way, this year because I'm going to do little kind of profiles on some of the albergues and publish those when we get back. But this one's definitely one I will feature because the meal afterward is, the meal at the end of the day is a very traditional Galician meal served farm style in this Galician grass roofed hut. The bar food is phenomenal with this particular goat cheese that's from Fonfria and is covered in honey, and you put it with fruit and crackers and things like that. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So this is a must-stay place. It's a big albergue, very comfortable, well spread out, not super packed in there. But that one, by the way, has gone from 10 euros. They've been 10 euros for many years, again without price change, and they have gone to 12 euros this year. Punta Rabira is one of the first albergues when you come into Sarria. That one was previously 8.50 euros and is now 10 euros. Ponsminia in Ponta Marine was previously 10 euros and is now 12 euros. That's the one, if you've been to Ponta Marine, is right at the top of the hill on the left-hand side as you're coming into the village there up the hill. Albergue El Tiro in Palos de Rey is the albergue to the right. If you take a right when you first get into town, really nice albergue, close to some of the food and so on. But that albergue has gone from 10 euros to 12 euros. Again, I think they were 10 euros as far back as I can remember. I want to just take a quick break, and I want to ask you, if you're finding this content helpful, please click the like button. That's super helpful to me because it sends these videos out to the rest of YouTube. And certainly if you are looking towards making a Camino yourself, subscribe to the channel because I want you to be able to learn about the logistics of Camino, about the kind of theology and spirituality of Camino, and about some of the gear that you need to be able to take. I have videos on all of that, as well as some vlogs from my trips. I got a great trip coming up with about 33 college students, and looking forward to you meeting them. So subscribe to the channel and let's get back to the work. I have Santo Santiago. This is an albergue when you first get into the city. We always stop before reaching the cathedral in Santiago so that next morning we can all walk in triumphantly into the cathedral together. So this one is actually just on the outskirts of Santiago, but it works really well for us. That one was previously 10 euros and is now 14 euros. I think all the way across the board, I mentioned all of those albergues. I think the only one that I booked in a way differently this time than I had in previous years, because almost all of them I would just go ahead and email folks. I think the only exception was the Albergue en Leon. The rest of those are kind of apples to apples comparisons with folks that I have a relationship with and have stayed there many times. Let me just say before I get to this kind of final, what's the price difference. These are albergues I love. I don't have any frustration with higher prices and so on, especially when we have such large groups. This price increase can amount to quite a lot of money, but these owners are just making ends meet, and I don't have any reservation about any of these folks, and we're going to be staying with all of them again, and excited about doing that. So no concerns there. So if you look at the total of those 10 albergues together in 2019, I would have paid 103.50 in euros, and in 2022 I will be paying 125 euros per person for those 10 albergues. Your prices might vary a little bit because in some cases we have a little bit different pricing because of we're in such a large group, but that equals apples to apples comparison is 20.7% increase from 2019 to 2022. I will say that again, based on my walking in July, and this is just anecdotal kind of evidence because these were not albergues I'd ever stayed before, but it certainly felt like that was a comparable price increase across the entirety of Camino Frances. I think that is kind of the new norm. I don't expect these prices to go back down after the Camino sort of returns to normal levels, but certainly competition could drive those prices back down, but at least for now I think this is kind of our new normal. So I hope you found that helpful. I've got a video right after this, which is my video about whether you should walk Camino in 2022. I talk about some of the factors that you might want to consider about whether you should walk Camino. The finances is just one of the things that happened over the course of Camino, or over the course of COVID. So I want you to check in on that video. You should be able to click the link right here and be able to find out about that one.